Hello everybody, welcome back to a bit of Hearts of Iron 4. It's been a hot minute since we've put ourselves in a bit of a challenge scenario. As you can see, Britain seems to have its finger in every piece of the pie in World War II. But what if there was just Britain? Britain alone against the world? Well, do I have the scenario for you today? You see, I've put together a scenario where the UK just has the UK. Modern UK borders without even its British overseas territories. And it looks a little something like this. The British Raj is still called the British Raj though, and British Burma, and British Malaya. But they're all independent. Don't fret, I guess they just like the names. This is it. This is all we start with and all we are going to go ahead and try to win World War II with. Are the colonies actually going to make us much of a difference? Will they actually be the defining factor in us winning? Let's find out, shall we? So here we are, locked in the British Isles, just as I'm assuming a lot of people want Britain, away from everybody else, with a big wall. Now, our economy isn't exactly horrendous. We do have quite a few resources on this island, and it does mean we aren't going to suffer too much. The economy is definitely going to take a little bit longer to get going, though, but I think for the most part, we should be fine eventually. But we do not have any of our allies or former colonies. They are now completely independent and on their own. Of course, we're going to get historical things happen, like France joining the Allies. That's completely fine. And if any of my colonies decide to come back and help me, that'd be very nice of them. But I don't think they will. Instead, though, we are going to fend for ourselves. We are locked into the decolonization path as well, as we do not actually have any subject nations. Unless I go out of my way to get a subject nation, potentially. I mean, we could do the revisit colonial policy as well, but all of this will just get bypassed down to the end anyway, where we won't get anything for doing this. So maybe I'll just wait for reinforce the empire until later and see if we can rebuild some form of an empire. But fellas, I'll be real with you, it's not looking great. First things first on these blighted isles is we're going to build up the economy. Going to get as many civs as I can for the long run here, and also I'm going to invest in refineries as well. Going to need to obviously secure both rubber, which we can't get anymore, and oil, which technically we do own the oil in Iraq, but not for long, I imagine. So I want to make sure I'm not going to obviously get submarine raided everywhere by the Germans. I do want to have some domestic oil and rubber, just in case things really do get bleak here, because making us as self-reliant as we can on the island is going to be the best thing we can do, because submarines are going to be a problem and our resources are going to be very heavily divided. We're obviously going to need both naval bombers, we're going to need air, we're going to need a lot of air actually, we've got no rubber, and obviously we're going to need stuff to field units. Now there are also some benefits to not having an empire. Obviously we do not need to hold on to anything in Africa. France is going to fall regardless. So if we do actually want to keep anything over there, it's going to be a bit tricky because Fishy is going to turn onto it, I imagine. Don't know, tested this for like 1 second, it kind of flip-flops all around, but yeah, don't have to worry about Africa, and obviously don't have to worry about Asia because we own nothing over there. Unfortunately though, it does mean our allies, we will still get dragged into it because they will obviously declare on the Dutch East Indies, and the Dutch will be in our faction, I imagine. Straight up, Paradox, why did you change the naval system again? Why can I no longer have to just immediately click on this naval task force here and move it over here? I now need to select all? Why? Oh my god, didn't even mention it, but yeah, we do still have the fleets. If anything, it's probably better for us that we now only have a to garrison the UK, but we're going to be using our navy abroad where we can as well. Obviously, the French still have all their colonies, so we can do a lot from them. Not that I'm going to at the moment, though. I was also kind of tempted to go global defense as well, and maybe actually go ahead and secure like the oil imports and stuff, but I think that goes against the spirit of the game today. We're going to have nothing here. It's been a bit of a while since I've done one of these mock scenarios that I've kind of come up with on my own, so if you enjoy them, make sure you definitely let me know in the comments down below, or if you have any of your others, feel free to let me know down below. Would love to hear your suggestions and or just some support for my delusions. Okay, we're going to get an attaché over to Spain as soon as we can here, just so that we get a bit of XP and also a bit more support over here so we can up our mobilization immediately, because getting on civilian economy, sure, great, but we need to build as quick as we can. Plus, we are the UK anyway. We have tons and tons of coal over here, so it's not like we have to worry too much about going up on partial mode. Also going to run down the shadow scheme and get our Vickers experimental facilities as well. That'll give us a free air research thing that's going to be absolutely base, because we will need a couple things in the air experimental ones, specifically the jet engines. I think will be pretty useful for us as the UK, because we don't have to research radar, so we can go straight into that as soon as I rush the deck for the engine. I think I'll get cruiser submarines as well, just in case we have to, you know, rely on just being annoying this game, but I think we'll be fine just with the 42 submarines we're going to start with, and then naval bombers to take out the Germans, because it's not like they're going to be able to really stop my navy too much here. It's still pretty powerful. And also, we've got plenty of these boys to be annoying with. Also, speaking of plane rushing, we are now going to go ahead and start rushing. I think they've actually put in a trait queue automatic thing here. So if I do that, boom, there you go. It's just automatically going to do it. Thank you, Paradox. That's 4 less clicks I have to do. Since it is kind of, I would say confusing, but a little bit clunky how this actually works, I'll show you how it is, just because, you know what, I'm a helpful YouTuber, and in return, you will leave a like and subscribe down below after I fill you in with this knowledge. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to go, you know, shift-click everything we want in an MIO. I'm using the Enfield one right here. Don't particularly actually care what I get from here, because I'm never going to probably look at it or set it again. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and boom, everything's selected how I want it. Then you just go to the trait queue, click save to file. I'm going to set it as, I don't know, small arms. That'll do. Save. That'll save as. Boom. It'll be there now every time I want to immediately select it. So just for clarity here, I guess. This is how it would look. And then boom, boom. There you go. It kind of is a little bit more confusing with planes, because if you actually go on the plane one, if you have multiple different chassis, say if you want to make a fighter or you want to make a CAS one, they will obviously be different, but on the same airframe. Yeah, it's a lot easier if you just come into the actual MIOs in here, just set them all once, then save them, obviously, as whatever you want to save them as, and boom, there you go. Really cool, right? Finally, something, a bit of quality of life in this game. Also going to throw an attaché over to China as well, so we can get a whole bunch of XP from them. We've also had a bit of a Stanley Baldwin emergency. He's turned into Neville Chamberlain. Yep, one of the worst Pokemon evolutions you can probably do. Nice, France has joined the Allies for their historical event, and now I think we're going to use the colonies that they have. This is all them, by the way. Just because it's red does not mean I own it. And we're actually going to go and secure the oil over here. I'm not going to take any of the land, but I can get an intervention on Iraq already. So I just want to make sure that they're a friendly government, and also conveniently run away with all the resource rights to their oil, which is going to come in handy. Certainly not the last, not the first time the British are going to violate Iraqi sovereignty in the name of securing the oil. WMD. Yeah, just a little skirmish to make sure that the Iraqis do stay on board with what we're going to lay out today. Obviously not interested in taking the land. I'm just going to go ahead and puppet them as a supervised state for now. They'll get their independence whenever they get enough points, I guess. That's how a supervised state works, but we're going to make sure that we take their oil. There you go. I guess it's technically a bit of an empire, but also not quite. In fact, I'm not entirely sure how long it actually takes for a supervised state to actually become free. I think it just ticks up over time, and I'm never able to annex them anyway. But yeah, eventually I think we're just going to look over there and Iraq's going to be free. Well, even though they're only a supervised state, that does actually mean that I can do reinforce the empire. And it's not so much that there's anything better in here than decolonization. It's just that there is something in here, because if I do decolonization, every single one of these will just bypass, because I've already decolonized. Another cool thing Paradox was actually added to try and mitigate the absolute headache that is playing this game sometimes, and all the ton of little features. If you actually go to your army spirit stuff now, and you can actually get one called Cult of Heroism, which gives the automatic chance for medals to just be distributed 50%. Now, they are 25% less effective, but considering I never, ever do medals, it's better than 0%. So it's probably best to get that on as soon as you can, just so that you never have to think about it. And your units will slightly get better. Like this guy could, you know, get a medal, albeit it'll be 25% less better, you know, it'll be 25% worse, but it's better, you know, in the long term. 1939 has rolled around a lot sooner than I thought it would, I put it that way, and I think we're in a good position to, well, hold off the UK definitely. Whether I don't think we're going to bother trying to keep France alive, which was never the plan anyway. Obviously, I want to do this correct. But the economy is pretty decent. I think we've definitely got a long way to go. I'm only just getting around to mills as well, but also, you know, I had to get that rubber down or else, you know, I'm just not going to be building planes late game. So we'll be doing a lot more of that in a bit. I'm trading a little bit in, but we'll see what the situation is when the Germans start raiding. And of course, we also do have a bit more oil than we would have because we have secured it in Iraq. They would otherwise break free eventually. Well, they are going to break free. I just don't think they're going to do the event where they steal the oil. It could be here somewhere, though. You never know. Actually, yeah, they can still do it if they've got enough manpower. So, for the moment, we do have a little bit more oil. I'm going to focus on the refineries anyway, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about that. We should be able to at least get our navy out and have it not run out of fuel. There you go. Our planes are now ready to be built. One thing I actually have only just thought about as well is obviously our aluminium. Don't have a lot of that. We do have a bit at the moment. We're going to have to definitely trade for a lot of that. We'll build up what we can though, make the most of it. We can already go ahead and get the jet engine too. Also, guess what? I'm gonna have to trade for a bit of chromium so we can do it correct. Not in a huge rush to get it just yet, but I do want it. Oh, and here it comes. Let's see how we do, shall we? All right, first bit of thing we're gonna do here is actually see about protecting our land. So I'm gonna have these navies here to be patrolling and then obviously just strike forcing with the main one. Oh yeah, okay, oil situation. It's not looking as bad as I had thought with the big navy constantly out patrolling. We could shorten this down a little bit, make it a bit smaller and a bit more efficient. Or we could just keep scaling our oil, which I think what we're going to do, and just keep it out. So in the meantime, we could just plug the hole with some American oil, just so that we can check if we can actually get this over without being completely raided by the Germans. Look at that, already taking out the German navy. Good boys. Well done, lads. And the Germans are now also going into Norway. We could have technically held that really easy if we cared enough, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna hold out on the islands for now until at least the fall of France, and then we'll start planning our operations across the world. I mean, the Norwegians are actually doing a pretty damn good job themselves there at a point. I mean, I think they're actually gonna get these German units there, but unless they make it and link up from the north, and oh, there goes Chamberlain. And we are about to see the fall of France. What happens over with their colonies, though, that is going to be the question and a half here. I think Vichy is going to get the majority of it. Egypt is not independent. They're independent of being owned by France, but they are a puppet of them. And then obviously all of this stuff over here is just going to be free game for the Axis if they get through Egypt, which they probably are going to be able to do. I'm going to be real. Oh, yep. That is exactly what I thought it might end up being. Okay, we'll see what Free France does. It's going to be a good thing for our submarines, though. The Axis are obviously going to have to go down here to do a bit of supplying of all that land they have, especially the fight in North Africa. It's going to make sure that I start raiding these tiles here. Look at that already. They are catching convoys everywhere. Nice! At least we can help a little bit. I love the fact that I can do destroyer for base of the Americans, and they'll still give me those 43 American destroyers. But guess what, boys? I ain't got no bases. I've got nothing for you. I will take your destroyers, though. I think they're all really bad destroyers. Actually, you know, they're not too bad for what they are. I'll take them. Now, this is also why we rush those fighters. Actually, being able to just decimate the Germans as much as we can in the air is what's going to keep us safe, because obviously we are going to be very susceptible to just get bombed endlessly here. Our entire economy is on this blasted island. We need to make sure to protect it. I mean, I am trading quite a bit now with the Americans, and we are actually getting it all through. We're not getting raided just yet. I've got naval bombers up everywhere, so I'm trying to take down the German subs as they appear. Yeah, the Americans are going to be the lifeblood for us for a while here, because we do need all of these resources. We are getting raided right there with that, so I'm just going to turn that off for now, and I think we're going to go to limited exports. I mean, these guys are kind of holding over in Egypt. I probably could have gone over there to go give them a helping hand, you know, get North Africa under control, but I think it's going to be way more interesting if we just see what their AI does over there. Instead, what I'm going to focus on is just keep raiding as much as we can of the Axis shipping here. That is definitely going to slow them down, because just look how many convoys are just getting blitzed here completely. Oh, and of course, I'm also still trying to increase all of my oil. You know what? All right, Deborah, get in the damn factory. Yeah, okay, so they are naval invaded. Just for fairness, I did also call Iraq in, so I'm not going to defend it though. So I think it's definitely going to fall, unless my allies can actually pull something off here, which I'm not sure if they can. Yeah, we are getting raided a little bit there, and it is actually interrupting our oil, so I'm going to start blocking off some zones, and hopefully we can get those submarines actually cornered somewhere and destroyed. Okay, there you go. Free France already back on the map. Let's see if they can pull something off here. They rerouted, found a couple of those submarines. Also, completely forgot to up my radar, so I'm going to do that as well. We'll catch a lot more of them that way. So I've done the Azores lease, which means we've got ourselves a base over here now, which I'm going to use to actually move those American destroyers and also project over here a bit of naval power, because my allies are actually holding out in the Middle East. I think I might go and give them a helping hand, see if we can't push the Italians out of North Africa by chance. But I'm looking at all the Red Sea over there, and I don't know if I want to be too close. I'll tell you what, we'll Operation Catapult. We'll see if the French give their navy to us. Said no. Well, I'm gonna blow it up. Okay, we're gonna try and get a small expeditionary force over to the Middle East and see if we can't help them out a little bit. Also see if we get destroyed going through the Med. So we got here pretty uninterrupted, actually. I've only got one unit lacking over there, so let's try and get North Africa secured for us and the Allies. So yeah, pretty normal African campaign, nothing different there. They were also actually kicking them out of East Africa as well. My allies are actually being competent. Germans have gone in on the Soviets as well now. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that, make sure they don't get too far in there, else I'm gonna have to do my D-Day way earlier than expected. Ooh, okay. Well, whilst that is North Africa dealt with, at least until Vichy turns up, where I think things are about to get very complicated. The Japanese are declaring on people over there, and as soon as they declare on my allies, I'm gonna have to go join them as well. Yep, here we go. In we go. Oh yeah, that's a lot of red, and we have like no bases over there, but I guess I can invite these guys to my faction, and I'm not gonna help them just yet. I think we got some other stuff to do, but I'll think about it. Yeah, that also brings the US in. Get in, Uncle Samuel. Nice. Okay, should I now bring over one of my navies potentially and try and beat the Italian one just so that we can try and win the Med, or do we do something else? Maybe just go fight the Japanese? I'm not sure. All right, we're taking on the Italian fleet. It looks like we are going to have no issue with it at all. We're going to get that blasted, and we're going to try and take Malta as well. But the Germans are actually, they're not doing too great, but they're also not doing terribly. I'm going to keep an eye on that, otherwise I think we're going to fight the Germans after they literally didn't even have anyone garrisoning Malta. But we've got it. We're back, boys. Well, the Anglo-Soviet invasion of Iran. I mean, technically I own Iraq, so we could be... Oh, wait, they're free now. God damn it. I don't own Iraq, but I'm friends with Iraq after punching them hard enough. Also trying to re-secure Cyprus over here. It was French, but there's a lot of submarines over here. It wasn't French. I forgot I gave it to Greece. Okay, makes sense. Anyway, onwards on my expeditionary force over here, so hopefully they can manage it. Well, Empire's back. I guess since I'm kind of already over here, I might as well just go help out the Japanese a little bit, because it's looking a little bit rough in some places. We'll see if we can't take down a bit of the Japanese Navy for them. Maybe do a landing here or there, and maybe secure Singapore, but I think it might be a bit too late for that. Okay. I'm going to launch myself into Vietnam, see what happens. Ooh, actually, pretty defended there. I think we're just going to barely get that. Yeah, that was very tricky. We'll see if we can't be a little annoying over here, though. Take a bit of pressure off of Singapore. Let's send over another lot of units, actually. I think the expeditionary force is going to be a little bit stretched at this point. Oh, and of course, there you go. US just declared on Vichy. Africa, hopefully, can hold its own, because I'm not coming back. Now, there are plenty allied troops all over the place here. I'm sure I'm very sure they're going to have it covered, right? Right. Okay, Africa's not looking too bad. I think it's the Middle East is looking a little bit tricky here, but I think they may just be on the back foot a little bit. I'm sure they will come around fixing it. I'm just not going to look at it. I'm just going to go back to over here. Although my Navy absolutely destroying the Japanese right now. If we actually look at this, yeah, I'm up to 41% from sunk enemy ships. That's pretty cool, right? This is certainly one way of rescuing Singapore. Taking the scenic route. Notice, as I've been kicking Japan out of South China over here in Southeast Asia, that Germany has somehow gained steam on the Eastern Front. I think I'm going to keep committing to taking down Japan, and then I think we've got to go rescue the Soviets. I've reached the point now, though, where I am having a very hard time getting more resources, specifically the most important one for my planes. Not too much we can do. I could technically, technically go invade somewhere, try and find some, or maybe even just ask for some. See if I can get anything around, but I'm just not that fussed. I'm gonna be real. I think we have enough planes at this point to be able to take down the Germans. I'm not even sure where I'd even find a bit of aluminiums hanging about, but wherever a little bit comes up to trade. In fact, look, the Netherlands right there, they got a whole bunch they're willing to trade. They weren't willing to do it before, but now they want me factories. Perfect. I think best bet is just getting the capitulation on Japan now, and going back to go save Europe. I mean, if you look if you look around us, this isn't exactly the safest naval invasion, I reckon. Somebody appears to have left loads of spiky balls everywhere. And I ain't talking about Boko and One. Hopefully this is a simple invasion that will run on back. And I'm actually surprised. Oh my god, what are you guys doing? I was about to say, I'm surprised you guys are holding on to this. No wonder you're holding on to us. You've put everything there. Well, let's go ruin their day. I'm going to go put my submarines outside it. And the landing is secured. Yeah. Certainly not too fun to be hanging out in Syria, is it? And all their supply is now disappearing. I reckon they're either going to get pushed out or they're going to stick it out. I don't know if that's a good idea. I think that is going to be the end of the Japanese war. If I don't have any other major powers, we don't, they will capitulate, and I'm actually going to get myself some actual land here. Yeah, look at that. I've got so many points. This is going to be our first step at rebuilding an empire here. And of course, I'm going to take as much as I can. Hey, look at that. The second brand new empire of ours has been concreted in place. I mean, I know it's a little bit confusing because I keep saying, it's owned by Britain. It's not British, though. They're just copying my cool name. Yeah, we got Southeast Asia and Japan. All of it, for the most part, other than a couple outliers. These guys are not having fun in here. I don't think they can leave anymore. They've probably not got enough convoys. So I'm going to send my army on the way back to Europe to have a little bit of a pit stop. Just stumbled upon the last of the Vichy and the Italian fleet there, and goodbye. Put it again, actually, and yeah, there you go. To the bottom of the sea you go. There's something over here as well, so see if we can find it. You're trying to run. You're trying to run! Yeah, they ain't getting too far. I tell you what, I absolutely love the fact you get so much points now for sinking enemy ships, because it makes me want to go out there and hunt them all. Just got the intelligence up enough there that I can see how many units there are without actually, having to manually count them. And there's 105 Axis units currently just in the Middle East stuck. So I'm going to go ahead and send them on their way. Though there are so many of them, I should be able to just outcast them. And yeah, as you see, we are we are pushing. There you go. They're all getting overran over there. And yeah, that's going to be 105 Axis units no longer on the map. Truly do have to question what the AI thinks sometimes, because why did you do this? Part of your code was like, yeah, you know what? Got a great idea. That'll be that. Should I just go straight into Germany now? I'm kind of tempted just to skip Italy and go right on in. I'm seeing quite a few little German pips over on that western wall. I'm gonna take it. I'm going in. Just had a little look over in Africa. How did that come about? Americans just did a bit of a solo expedition there. It didn't go too well. It did give me some valuable intel, though, that there are actually too many German soldiers. I'm sure we'll be fine, though. Well, they've done a southern invasion over here, though. That's gone a little bit better, and will also work as a nice distraction for us. Okay, yeah, it ain't too bad over here now. It's just 1 unit per tile. We're not getting the invasion, though. Once our boys have landed, though, I think we'll be able to get that port, hopefully. Otherwise, I got some bad news for you guys. Yeah, we got it. D-Day successful. Our Germans actually are doing a pretty decent job in the air. It's really hard for me to actually outproduce them because I don't have the resources, but we do have our jet fighters that are absolutely shredding them, numbers-wise still. And oh my god, they're actually still pushing in the Soviets. Okay, might actually have to worry about the Middle East again. Why? Just realized there was a very radical change of government over in Canada, but you've kept the flag, I guess. Oh, Italy capitulated mostly from my allies, believe it or not, and we just got ourselves a fat encirclement down there because of it. Nice. Even though there are quite a few German troops over here, there are not enough to stop us because there's just, well, quadruple the amount in allied troops. I think unsurprisingly at this point it's literally just down to a numbers game, and Germany don't got the numbers. I was wondering if any of my past dominions would get involved in the conflict somehow, and I just wasn't expecting Canada to be getting involved the way they did. It's just the Germans that need to capitulate here for a peace conference. I don't know what that conference is going to look like. We do have quite a few points in participation there, and the Soviets have more of them, so I'm hoping just to get a couple provinces. Ooh, and there it is. Look at that. A whole opportunity for a brand new empire. That was probably one of the best peace conferences we've had in a while. Look at that. The empire is back on the map. All that green is mine. And I guess in all fairness, we did lose way more, but we've also gained more than 0, which means we're on the up. So there you go. We're back in Africa in a few places. We obviously have our new base in Southeast Asia and Japan, and of course our German occupation zone, which I guess will humbly join our kingdom willingly. Oh, and yeah, we also have Italy as a puppet, but you know how that usually goes in a game where they'll eventually just send you an event and say, we're out of here. On top of that, as soon as we actually peaced out, everyone wanted to join our faction that was democratic, so our faction has also just grown considerably, quite a bit there, which very nice. I mean, most of the dominions have come back in. Obviously Canada went a different route, and I don't think India is going to return our calls, but that was our game. Very fun one, very challenging at the start, I'd say, but once things evened out, we managed to turn the tide. It worked pretty well, and of course, you know, obviously the British Isles are the main industrial base of the UK, but I think the thing you really struggle on is definitely the resources. I mean, dear God. And obviously, because I wanted to be self-sufficient on oil and rubber, I did have to focus on building a whole bunch of that across our kingdom, and it did help a lot. I'll definitely have to say that much. But yeah, interesting, fun little game that was. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe down below. It really does help, and I obviously appreciate it a whole bunch. Gets the video, you know, a whole bunch of engagement and support and stuff like that. I don't really do merch or Patreons or anything like that. There is a Patreon I own. Don't go sub to it. It's not active. I've just kept it there for the people that subbed all those years ago. So the best way you can really support the channel is just by hitting the like button, leaving a comment down below, and subscribing. That's all I can ever ask from you, other than, of course, your 20 or so minutes for watching the video. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.